Hi everyone. Sorry I missed you guys yesterday. I had a conference that I was attending and actually had to attend today as well. I hope you guys are staying warm and staying inside in these Arctic temperatures. I know that you talked yesterday to Mrs. Pikatowski about credible sources, but I did receive an email today from Colin saying that people were a little confused as to where to go from here. So I'm going to do a brief, very informal video about how you can start your research because you should be using this time wisely. You are stuck inside for 2 days, so let's make sure that you get a lot of research done. We were supposed to do the research in class, so now you just have time at home to do it. So it's kind of a win-win. So the first thing that you're going to do is you are going to um, start your research. So for example, nobody chose Moors. So we're going to look up the Moors. Now, in doing your research, please make sure the websites that you are looking at are credible. That means they're not conspiracy theorists. Anything that is Wikipedia, we're going to stay away from. However, something to note. Clearly, my internet is taking a long time. You can use Wikipedia. There's a list at the bottom of your sheet or at the bottom of each page that gives you a little bit more information as to where they've received their resources from. So you can sometimes use that as a great starting off point. So if you look here, oh look, it talks about the etymology, something to research. You can look all the way at the bottom, and here it has the references. So you could use these as a great place to go for some credible sources that they are directing you to, things that they've used, external links. Those are some great resources to use. For our purposes, we're going to go back to our Google search. Here this says student projects. I would probably caution you away from student projects. We have Black History Studies. That might be a little bit more credible. Here we have Britannica. Britannica is a pretty credible source, or even bbc.com. So you can choose any of these. Let's start with our definition from Britannica. So here you have the Encyclopedia Britannica. It talks about the Moors, the people themselves. For our purpose, I have asked you with the Moors to look at regional, cultural, or spiritual allusions and terms, including the philosophy, symbols, and ideas surrounding each of these terms. So to start our research, we have here the Moors, in English usage, a Moroccan or formerly a member of the Muslim population of what is now Spain and Portugal. Of mixed Arab, Spanish, Berber origins. If you have not yet looked up the Berbers, you might be interested in using that for your intellectual curiosity. And the Moors created the Arab Andalusian civilization and subsequently settled as refugees in North Africa between the 11th and 17th centuries. By extension, the term occasionally denotes any Muslim in general, as in the case of the Moors of Sri Lanka or of the Philippines. Okay, so you have here a good definition of who and what they are, where the term comes from. Okay, so now that you have this information, what do you do with it? My advice is to gather all of your research, find a whole bunch of credible sources that answer the questions that I've asked you to search for, and then make note cards. While that might seem a little bit elementary, I have found that very often for this paper, people tend to plagiarize because they simply take the information that they have found. They then, open up a Google Doc and side by side are writing while they're looking at their source and they're looking at their blank document. And then you are simply just transferring the information from one source to the other and inadvertently plagiarizing. So if I were you, I would start with note cards. So let's look here more. Something that might be really interesting. Here we have from the Middle Ages. Right, so I would take out a note card and I would write descriptions. Because on my note card, I'm going to put in direct quotes because this is going to be something that I can directly quote from. Okay, so I have my description, I have my direct quote, and then I ran out of space, but you should write where your source is. Okay, where did you get that information from? I would then continue through this document, and at the end of the document, I should have, multiple note cards, Post-its that talk about whatever it is the information that I got from this source is. Okay. The purpose of that is once you are done gathering all of your evidence and compiling all of your evidence, I should have, the similar headings, descriptions from multiple different sources, or you're also looking for philosophies, right? I should have examples, direct quotes about their philosophies from multiple different sources. So in the end, I can take my information that talks about the description, I can, sort them together and think, okay, and say to myself, this is probably all the information that I'm going to put in a paragraph about their description, who they are, where they're from. I might then have a different paragraph that talks about their philosophies. And I'm going to gather all of my information on their philosophies and compile that into a different paragraph and clump all those together. I have found that students that do it this way, more manual, actually moving around their information and being able to manipulate that information, that the research papers are more thoughtful, more thorough, and don't plagiarize, okay? Because now you're just putting all that information together. That is what a synthesis is. It's taking the information from all these different sources, compiling them together, and then creating one final product, and that is what you will be doing. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm going to try and see if I can set up like a Hangout of some sort, a Google Hangout for tomorrow that maybe you guys can log on and we can chat. But hopefully that was helpful, maybe a good place to start. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Stay warm. Talk to you guys soon.